But first, just last week we heard how the nursing home industry in this country was seeking to fill almost 500 vacancies. But it seems they are not the only ones crying out for nurses.
A shortage of nursing staff in New South Wales in Australia means that the search is on here for Irish nurses to fill 200 vacancies.
Well, Australia have had a new labour agreement, which means there are 1,400 new jobs in New South Wales over the next 3 to 4 years. And what's happened is they know there'll be an immediate shortage of 200 nurses. And the experience and the professionalism of the Irish nurses who have gone before has made sure that the New South Wales Department of Health is so anxious to recruit Irish trained nurses that they've come here on a dedicated recruitment drive. So we have 200 positions in New South Wales that we're hoping to fill in the next 6 months. While we've had a steady flow of people, and I thought we'd fill 200 jobs certainly in Dublin and we'd have 3 or 4 days of interviews, it's been a little bit slow on the uptake, so people are probably looking at all of the options before they move forward. But we have 2 full days of interviews now in Dublin in September, and we're hoping maybe to fill up a third before the interviewers move on to the UK, where they're doing some follow-on interviews, and if they don't have enough people they move on to America.
Joining us now is Margaret Cox of the I.C.E. group and nurse Amanda Cannon, who's emigrating to Australia in January. You're both very welcome to the show. Margaret, Irish nurses still in huge demand. Why so?
I think it's because of the training that we receive here, the personality of the people, the can-do attitude, and their willingness to work hard and to embrace all different types of cultures and learning new ideas and things like that. And it's very much welcomed in Australia, and there's a huge cultural bond between Australia and Ireland, and that makes a huge difference down there.
Is our nurses training similar to the Australian model?
Indeed, and that's one of the reasons, Martin, that there's such a connection between, because way back when we were moving into the university sector with the nursing training, there was a great modelling done on the Australian market as well, and how they did it in the Australian universities. So there's a great connection between the two educations and the trainings, and that's well recognised by Australia when they look at the Irish nursing system.
Tell us about these 200 posts. What type of positions are available and where exactly are they in New South Wales?
New South Wales is a really interesting state because you've got the beautiful city of Sydney and you've got downtown hospitals beside the Opera House, beside Bondi Beach, so you can have that lovely city feeling beside the beach, the beautiful weather, the parks and whatever. And then you can have the community type nursing in the outback, so it can be really like the nurses and doctors on the aeroplanes type thing.
The flying doctors.
Flying doctors, yeah. Exactly. So it's like that community facilities in the rural outback. So you have a mix of all sorts of opportunities for nurses. They're in general medicine, they're in surgical, midwifery, mental health. So the whole range of nursing opportunities are there because there are so many jobs there with the change in the ratio of the nursing hours for nurses over there. So there are more nurses, less patients and better paying conditions.
Okay, what about the hours?
Well, the hours are great. I mean, the great thing about Australia, and I suppose the development of the profession there, is it's a great work-life balance over there. They tend to be very much focused on, well, how can we make life and work very much balanced? So you still work the same number of hours as you would perhaps here, but very much in a balanced perspective. So great opportunities like that. And the paying conditions, they say in Australia that the New South Wales nurses are the best paid nurses in the entire country of Australia because of this new nursing agreement.
What type of pay are you talking for one of the entry-level positions?
Well, the pay would start at about $51,000, but it's very difficult per annum. It's very difficult, I suppose, to say what the pay is for every single person because it very much depends on what your education is, what entry level you're hitting in terms of experience and so on like that. So it's very varied, and then there are different shift allowances and different payments that nurses would receive on top of that.
But some of these jobs, would more of the jobs be in kind of very rural areas than they would be in Sydney, let's say, for example? I mean, are these nurses going to be going off to the boonies, essentially?
No, not really. And I guess it's this particular campaign is different perhaps than other campaigns have been because every single ward and every single hospital in New South Wales has gotten extra nurses. So the choice is there for the people, for the nurses, the Irish nurses going down, depending on what it is that they're looking for. Some are looking for a great chance to develop their careers. Some are looking for a lifestyle choice. They want to be in a city centre. Some want to be more in a community rural setting where they they have a broader range of experience. So it's different this time than it has been in the past when we've done recruitment campaigns for the boonies, but this time you have a great choice.
Okay. How did I.C.E. get involved in this?
We're involved with a partner agency, Professional Connections. We've been involved in recruiting for Australia for about 12 years now, and in fact one of the reasons we got involved is because at the time our Director of Recruitment had come back from Australia. She had been a nurse herself in Australia, in Ireland, went to Australia, moved into a different career in Australia and then came back to us working. So it was just one of those quaint Irish things. You start to make connections all over the world, and we've been doing it now for over 12 years.
Well, Amanda, you're making the move.
That's right.
So how did you find out about this?
I was researching on the internet, and I seen advertisements for agencies to work in Australia, and I had it in my head that I would like to travel to Australia. And I signed up with the I.C.E. group, and they work with Professional Connections, and then they contacted me saying that there was job opportunities in Australia. So I went ahead, completed the registration form, got in contact with Anne Griffin, who's with Professional Connections, and applied for a position in Bloomfield Hospital in Orange. So
explain to us where Orange is.
Orange is it's outside Sydney. It's in a rural area. It's approximately about 3 hours drive from Sydney, but there's a very good public transport system there. I believe a flight is only 40 minutes. So I mean, you know.
So you could become one of the flying doctors.
That's right. Yeah.
And what area are you going to specialise in?
Well, I'm trained as a psychiatric nurse here in Ireland. I'm going to qualify now next week. I finish my placement, and it's in mental health is where I have got this job, and hopefully it's going to be in the child and adolescent side, which I'm really looking forward to. Yeah.
Before this job came up, had you sent out many CVs? Because I mean, only last week we did a story on how the nursing homes in Ireland are looking for nearly 450 vacancies. But we have had nurses on the couch before saying that they have to emigrate because there's no jobs. So did you know about the nursing home jobs, or would that be something that you'd be interested in anyway?
Yeah, no, I know that there is great demand for nurses in nursing homes. For me personally, I'm trained as a psychiatric nurse, you know, and I have a degree which allows me to travel anywhere I want, which is it's a golden ticket really. Nursing home work I would be very interested in, but I just believe now that to gain experience and to get the training, you know, for my qualification, that maybe nursing home work is for maybe older, more experienced nurses.
It's not for you right now.
Not for me right now. Yeah.
Now there is other interests outside of nursing that is taking you to Australia, and so you have to tell us about this because the boyfriend's already gone.
Yeah, he is. Paul, my boyfriend, he is a mechanic, and he's decided to travel over there in June. So he's over there now, and he's very, very settled over there. He loves it. He loves the Australian way of life. He just said the people are absolutely lovely, really down to earth. Just you get to meet so many people from all different areas, so many different cultures. And
did he have trouble finding work as a mechanic here? Is that why he went up?
No, actually, he was employed, but this job opportunity came up. His friends over there, and they said there was a place in this big truck garage, which he's fanatic about trucks. So he grabbed it, and he's getting on really well, and the experience he's getting out there is going to benefit his career as well as the experience I'm going to get.
Okay, how are your family when you told them that you're going to Australia?
Sure, they probably thought it was all talk first, that I wouldn't go, but now they're kind of getting used to the idea that, like, in a way, like, I have to kind of go, you know, it's going to make my career for me. The experience I'm going to get when I come back here to Ireland, like, I will have learned so much, and now I think they're happy that Paul's out there. He's a very level-headed person, so they trust him, and that, you know, if he likes it, and I'm going out there I know what I'm going out to, like, it's not that I'm going out there on my own, not knowing, and he's very settled out
He'll
there.
be looking
so.
after you.
So he is, yeah.
Margaret, for any nurses watching this morning who would be considering taking up one of these 200 positions, I presume they'd have to do a video conference interview with the hospitals in Australia, or how would it work, and when would they hear the news that they've got the job?
Sure. We are doing 2 days of dedicated interviews in Dublin on the 8th and 9th of September. That's in city centre Dublin. We may do an additional day if we have enough people as we move on in the campaign. If we don't get the interviews done in Dublin, we'll do the video conferencing, conference calls, during the campaign when the New South Wales representatives are here. So people need to just apply, send in their CVs. They need to have thought about it. They may want to come along for a chat in Dublin, and we can give them all of those types of details so that they understand what it is that would be required for them, how much experience they would have, and so on like that. Because it is a big decision, and people need to be, I suppose they need to know as much as they can possibly know about it. But interviews in Dublin in September the 8th and 9th, and then video conferencing interviews if we don't have enough for a third day in Dublin.
Okay. Amanda's very lucky. She's got Paul waiting there to help her when she gets there. You've also got a couple of cousins there too, I believe.
Yeah, I have.
But what about the people who are going there who don't have any?
And that's
people?
great, yeah.
What kind of support do you guys offer them?
So and this is part of why I suppose we put in a tender document in order to be selected, and in that we need to show the New South Wales Department of Health the kind of welcome pack that we provide. We would meet our nurses at the airport, we bring them to wherever they're staying for the first night, we orientate them around the area of their hospital, and then when they start in the first couple of days after they get, the hospitals themselves have an orientation package. They teach them, or not teach them, but show them, you know, where to register for tax, for the social security, and they kind of do a bit of a buddy system in certain hospitals as well, so that nobody feels on their own. I suppose Australia have been doing overseas nurses for many years, and they have it down very, very well, but we look after them.
Very quickly, how long, what's the minimum contract? Would be a year they'd be signing up for?
Most of the positions we're looking for longer than a year, so it would be 4 years is what we're looking for. That would be our hope, that most people would go for 4 years. These are really serious long-term positions with all sorts of benefits attached to them. And they're starting any time from Christmas on to July of next year, and maybe July, August, but we're hoping most people will be in position by July.
Well, you're going to be in position, Amanda, by February. We wish you well with it. We know that you've been getting sporadic days work here and there. You've now got the promise of regular work in Australia, but be like a boomerang and bring that mechanic fella home with you as well. We'll need people like you back in the country to get us rolling once more. Good to meet both of you, and good luck with those interviews next month.
After the break, in the first in a new series, I Ditch Mike and Sybil.